Hello, welcome back. I'm talking about FSHD today, or facioscapulohumeral dystrophy, which is something that I have and I've lived with for the last 10 years. I'll be talking about what it is, how it impacts people who have it, and a little bit of my experience living with it. So let's get into it. FSHD, or facioscapulohumeral dystrophy, is a form of muscular dystrophy, and muscular dystrophy just refers to a group of conditions that all cause you to lose muscle mass over time. There are 9 main types of MD, all with their own set of unique features and challenges. FSHD, as the name suggests, mainly affects the facial region, shoulder blade area, and the upper arm. While these are not the only areas that it affects, it's usually where it's first noticeable. So for me, my smile was always a little bit goofy, but it wasn't until my shoulders started causing me some problems that it was apparent I was dealing with something else. This diagram here shows all the muscles that are mainly affected, with some being more involved than others. Some common traits of FSHD are the inability to move your arms above your shoulder height due to something called scapular winging, which is where your shoulder blade should be sitting tight against the back of your rib cage, but in this condition it sort of flares out, so you get really weak shoulders and your shoulders will sort of roll forward as well. Alongside that, there's reduced facial strength, so not being able to whistle, smile, drink through a straw, close your eyes really tight is quite common. And also something called foot drop, which is where the muscles that flex your foot up become weakened. So when you go to walk, you're not able to lift your foot up. And additionally, things like weakening of the legs, so the quads and that sort of area, as well as the abdominals, can really impact your mobility. Luckily for anyone who hangs out with me in person, FSHD is not contagious. I've had it since I was a baby, so you're all good. It's caused by a gene mutation which deletes some of the DNA on chromosome 4. And pretty much what this does is it just activates a dormant gene called DUX4, which is toxic to muscles, so hence the muscle loss. And in the majority of cases, it's inherited through a parent, although in about a third of cases, it's completely random. So I was a random case. No one in my family has it. So I was a lucky one, I guess. It usually presents itself in your teen years, although it can earlier or later in life as well. As with most conditions, FSHD is highly variable, and I really want to stress this, but it's by no means a guarantee that if you have it, you'll end up in a wheelchair or have an impaired quality of life. Some people get unlucky and they have to face it at full strength, whereas some other people are mildly affected and it becomes more of a slight nuisance than a disability. However it affects you though, I want you to know that it's not all doom and gloom. While there is no current cure, there is lots of research being done constantly to try to find some treatments for this condition. And as much as it might sound hard to believe, living with muscular dystrophy has actually provided me with a lot of joy in my life. I've had opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise, such as meeting some top class athletes, getting involved in parasport, and meeting some really cool people. Having a disability has really taught me to be kind, and I'm more aware than ever that you just can't rush to judge people. You never know what people are dealing with behind closed doors, just like a lot of people didn't know what was going on with me. Having this condition has given me a sense of purpose in my life, and I now feel that I have a real reason to share my journey with others. As with all forms of muscular dystrophy, FSHD is a progressive condition. So, according to science, that means it will get worse over time. But luckily for us, it's usually a very slowly progressing condition and rarely affects life expectancy. There are usually some things that are recommended to attempt to slow that progression a bit, such as regular exercise, eating lots of protein, not pushing yourself to the point of injury and really listening to your body. I'll make a video in the future talking about what I do to try to slow that progression down. And if you'd like any specifics, please let me know in the comments. For those of you who haven't watched any of my videos before, I was diagnosed at 14 and I'm now 24. Over that time, I have lost a fair bit of mobility. However, I think at least some of that could have been prevented. I went through a pretty rough patch mentally a couple of years ago and ended up dropping a little bit of weight. I pretty much just stopped exercising and eating and got down to about 67 kilos, which is underweight for my height. And I lost a decent amount of strength in my quads over this time. And obviously, apart from having a progressive muscle wasting condition, I feel that that was because I wasn't eating enough. Because if you don't eat enough, you'll lose weight. And for a condition like this, if you're losing weight, some of that's probably going to be muscle. So I did what is not usually recommended and went on a bit of a bulk. I wanted to regain a little bit of weight and got up to about 83 kilos at my heaviest, which was by far the heaviest I've been in my entire life. And obviously not everything I put on was muscle, but I feel that I put on a decent amount of size in my upper body at least. I'll never look like a bodybuilder, and that's okay. I'll be the first to admit that I still have quite a lot of body image issues, but I really do feel like they've improved at least somewhat since I've started going to the gym regularly. I am clearly not a doctor and absolutely in no way qualified to recommend anything, but I do feel that using the muscles you do have is really important, and not just for your physical health, but your mental health as well. At the moment, I'm trying to put my all into becoming a para-athlete and competing at the highest level, because I feel a bit better when I have something to work towards. I may not get there, and that's okay. I'll at least know that I tried and I won't look back in years and regret it. I'm also really passionate about building this channel and interacting with other people who have disabilities. I feel like this is a really great platform to spread some awareness and hopefully inspire some people out there. So that was just a quick overview of FSHD and my experience living with it for the last 10 years. There's a whole lot more to the condition, and if you're curious, I encourage you to do a little bit of your own research. I will chuck some videos down below as well that go a little bit more in depth if you want to check those out. And a big part of this channel will be following my journey with muscular dystrophy. And if there are any videos in the future that you'd like to see, please let me know below. If you or anyone you know has FSHD, muscular dystrophy, or any form of disability, I really would love to hear about it. I think the first step to normalizing disability is awareness, and by showing people that you're out there dealing with things, it shows everyone else that there's a whole world of people battling things that they may be unaware of. So I also appreciate the continued love and support you guys have been showing me, and I'll see you next week.